This is Cast the Past. This episode, Hallowed Ground. It is the 14th of January, 1944. The place, the small Cheshire town of Nantwich, England. Today the war will arrive from the sky. It will involve an American pilot whose enemy today will not be German artillery or fighter planes. His enemy will be fate, and he will demonstrate a particular courage, a courage that is required when fate deals its cards. The pilot is 23-year-old Lieutenant Arthur Leslie Brown from New York City. His plane is one of a squadron of 12 planes that take off from RAF Atcham, Shropshire, on a training flight. Lieutenant Brown of the United States Army Air Force is flying the latest model of Republic, the P-47D Thunderbolt. The P-47D is the largest single-engine fighter aircraft. At 9 tons, it is 3 times heavier than a Spitfire and can reach speeds of 550 miles per hour. These fighters are playing a vital role protecting American bombers during daylight bombing raids over German-occupied Europe, and they can fly at high altitude. Lieutenant Brown is a relatively experienced pilot with 321 flying hours logged. However, he has flown only 15 hours in this new type of Thunderbolt, and he is getting used to her turns, climbs, and dives. There is an urgency to their training. Little do the pilots know, but they are preparing for D-Day, scheduled for June that year. Their high-altitude planes will be crucial in securing the skies and creating a shield for the landing craft that day. Lieutenant Brown and his colleagues know something is afoot. There is more urgency in their drills, strain in their commanders' voices, and frequent visits to their base by top military brass. They suspect something big will happen soon, and all are prepared to play their part. And that is why Lieutenant Brown has travelled over 3,000 miles to England. He wants to play his part. He knows he must train and wait for the call to action he feels is imminent. Lieutenant Brown is like most American boys that era. He is polite and easy in his manner. He listens to the forces radio and reads film magazines for stories involving Clark Gable or his favourite pin-up, Betty Grable. Sometimes he feels homesick and bored and fearful. He writes home often and looks forward to mail and parcels from home. He's attended dances and met some pretty English girls. He doesn't have a sweetheart, but has someone in mind. Maybe soon he will ask her to a dance. It's shortly after 1400 hours, and having completed the first of their high-altitude exercises, the aircraft are over Nantwich. Captain Potter leads the formation. Everything is going well, until he notices one aircraft missing. He calls the missing aircraft, but receives no response. Control tried to contact the pilot. No response. Lieutenant Brown is silent. Down on the ground, staring upward, the townspeople of Nantwich see the drama unfold. 2 schoolboys witness, high in the sky, a plane doing a series of sharp turns, climbs, and dives, leaving in its wake a trail of vapour. It looks impressive and reckless. The boys watch in awe, then horror as they see the plane spin, then nosedive at maximum throttle. They know no pilot can rescue themselves from such a dive. In the cockpit, Lieutenant Brown sees a spinning world that is getting closer. Now every second counts. He sees the town below and houses and a school playground. He must steer his stricken plane away from the town. To his right, he sees the river and fields. He pulls the joystick tightly, but it resists. Time is running out, and he feels faint. With one last effort, he pulls again, and it is enough. Below, he sees the river and the trees growing larger and larger. Then nothing. Lieutenant Brown and his plane hit the ground at full speed. The thunderbolt lives up to its name, and a loud bang tears the silence of the town. The plane has plummeted 24,000 feet in less than a minute. Its speed drives it far below ground, where it hits soft sand and sinks even further. So far down that neither the plane nor its pilot will ever be recovered. When the RAF salvage team arrive, they find only a few metal fragments on the ground. Retrieval is impossible. They leave the pilot cradled in the wreckage of his plane. The earth has swallowed Lieutenant Brown forever. The bang draws many townsfolk to the crash site. They file down Shrewbridge Road and into the fields. They are in awe at the crash they witnessed, the roar they heard, and the tremor those closest felt. All sense the tragedy. All are thankful the plane has missed the nearby houses and school. Thankful and grateful to Lieutenant Brown. They understand that although the young pilot's death is to be mourned, his bravery in guiding his plane away from the town has saved many lives. The official investigation begins. In a world of black and white, of copies, testimonies, eyewitness accounts, and deliberation, there is no room for heroism. Heroism must sit at the back of the small room while reports are read and the facts considered. The investigation proves inconclusive. It attributes Lieutenant Brown's death to faulty breathing equipment, which caused the young man to lose consciousness and control of his plane. They attribute the plane's crash away from the residential area to plain good fortune, plain good luck. In a black and white world, Lieutenant Brown suffered from anoxia, and in those dying moments was oblivious to where the plane would crash. That was the official version. Only Lieutenant Brown knows what really happened, and the people of Nantwich. They know that without examining the plane, the investigators can only speculate. They know a mechanical failure cannot be ruled out, and Lieutenant Brown may have been grappling with a plane that no longer responded to his control. The people of Nantwich see things differently, and it is 1944, and heroes and heroines walk the earth or fly above it. They have already seen such heroes in the summer of 1940, in the haze and the heat of the Battle of Britain, when the world rested on a knife edge and democracy tilted towards the abyss. The people of Nantwich know Brown to be a hero. They know he steered his fighter away from their homes that day rather than bail out. They know he sacrificed his life to save many more. They know he is a hero, and many owe their lives to him. Mr. Philip George, the farmer who owns the land where the stricken thunderbolts crashed, is determined to honour the pilot. He writes to Lieutenant Brown's mother in Long Island, sending his sympathy and requesting her agreement to a memorial being laid in his honour. He encloses a rough sketch of a stone slab he proposes to lay near the impact site, which is now a crater. Farmer George has more than sympathy driving his wish. He and his family have lost a son in the Battle of Britain, a Spitfire pilot. A shared loss unites two grieving families across one ocean. The community adopt Lieutenant Brown. He is one of their own. The Girl Guides and the Brownies tend his grave. Later, the Nantwich branch of the Cheshire Regiment Association will tend the gravesite. In time, Lieutenant Brown's relatives will visit. Over the years, 3 headstones will mark the pilot's resting place. In Nantwich, Brown Avenue is named in his honour. Time moves on, but the links between past and present hold firm. Every year, on the nearest Sunday to the 14th of January, the people of Nantwich gather to pay their respects. In January 2019, the Brownies and Scouts are some of the organisations who gather to mark 75 years since Lieutenant Brown's death. The service includes standard bearers, the last post, 1 minute silence, and reveille. The Mayor of Nantwich, councillors, officials of the Royal British Legion and the Cheshire Regiment lay wreaths and pay their respects. The police and the civic society attend, as do the Scouts and the Brownies. And this is how a pilot, born thousands of miles away, leaves an indelible mark on this town. His life and death interweave with this town's history, its narrative. He died there, and they will give their adopted son their undying gratitude for saving their lives. 100 miles away from Nantwich, at the American Cemetery near Cambridge, a headstone to Lieutenant Brown marks the official point of commemoration, although the grave lies empty. You have been listening to Cast the Past with me, Stephen Evans. Thanks for listening.